Hey everybody, Mo here, and today I'm bringing you guys the last Meta Monday before the World Championship Qualifier Open tournament. That's a mouthful to say. That's a long title, but basically the really big and really important Open for this season is coming up this weekend. So this is going to be the last Meta Monday before that. I will have a Sweaty Thursday to kind of give you an update on the meta and update on best of threes lineups and stuff like that to go into this weekend. So there will still be one more meta style video in case anything changes between now and Thursday. So you have things up to date, right before the actual tournament itself is going to happen. So yeah, this is to help you if you need to grind out the last couple of gauntlets to get yourself those prime glories, because they got rid of the Ruthless Rumbles, the infinite buy-in Ruthless Rumbles, but there's still the best of three gauntlets going on right now. So you have today, which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So you can still get yourself 50 XP, which is good. It'll help you out. If you already have your two buys, it'll help you with tiebreakers. If you don't have your second buy, maybe that 50 XP can get you to your second buy in time. That way you only have to win 7 rounds instead of, 8 or 9. So that's what we're going to be mainly focusing on today. Is a little bit of ladder, but mostly decks that are good at best of threes. We have tournament overviews here from the big tournaments this weekend to see what won and what did well. So that's mostly what we're going to be looking at today, is just lineups, thinking of what lineups are good in best of three, what lineups have really good charts. I also have an image here of stats, which I meant to open up earlier. Okay, so let's start things off. We're just going to do a quick rundown of top 8 for ladder, because some of you do still, like to play ladder, and that's the thing that most people play over tournament. So let's go over that real quickly. So the top 8 most played decks on ladder in order are Karmaset, Teemo Tristana Nar, Bilgewater, Samira Fizz. We have Deep at number 4. That's your top half. Ladder half is Pike Rek'Sai, Teemo Tristana Noxus, Teemo Tristana Demacia, and then Astral Blanc is squeaking in here at number 8. Immediately almost closed in by Echo Jinx. So a couple things I want to notice is, one, there's a lot of Tristana decks up here. You see Tristana Demacia, Tristana Noxus, Tristana Bilgewater's way up there. I don't think they're particularly great. We have Spare Fizz also popping up here. I think this deck is particularly great. So see, Baja is still here. Baja, this is NA account, is 93% win rate over 29 games. I mean, well, he's probably lost like one game then, maybe two. So he's like 28-1 or 27-2, something like that. As well as Baja, spoilers alert, won the big, we're going to go over it first. He won the big Mastering Runeterra, like $2,000 tournament this weekend. So congrats to him with that. Yeah, so I guess the big thing is Karmaset's kind of come back alive. That's kind of weird. Let's see what it's good into. Karmaset is good into mid-range. It says it's beating Tristana Nar decks, which is kind of weird. I definitely don't think it should be. Definitely don't think it should be beating Tristana Nar. We'll see over here. Maybe, let's see. Teemo, Tristana, Bilgewater. See what it has here. Karmaset. Yeah, see, Karmaset is 63%. Karmaset 63%. So ladder stats are not the greatest sometimes. So yeah, so I don't think it's really beating these decks. Maybe beating not great players, but Karmaset, I really don't think there's a reason to be playing Karmaset right now, if I'm being honest with you. I think there is a lot of mid-range decks that it's... oh, no, sorry, this says losing to. Okay, sorry. I was extremely confused. Yeah, so this is losing here. So what is it beating? It's beating the stuff over here. So it's beating this, like, all these control piles because you have Deny and stuff. You're beating the Seraphine Jack deck because they're not as fast anymore, not as crazy because of all the nerfs that got hit by it. You're beating the Alawi deck because they can't pressure you enough. Aatrox can't pressure you enough. Samira Pantheon. I'm really surprised that you're winning this matchup because they have so many spell shield units. But I guess, like, they really don't apply a lot of pressure early. They just kind of go, okay, after turn 6, I'm going to play one really big threat over and over and over again. And they can really only do that like 3 times before it hits turn 10, and then their spell shields literally don't matter because you have leveled up Karma. And then this is not true in the slightest. Being favored into Samira Fizz is just a lie. Even if you're on, I don't even think most decks are playing Caustic Rift. But apparently they're still on 3 Caustic Rifts. But even with Caustic Rifts, I don't think you're beating Samira Fizz. You weren't beating old Samira Fizz. I definitely don't think you're beating new Samira Fizz. Yeah, look, no Caustic Rift in that one. 2 Caustic Rift. 1 Caustic Rift. So it looks like non-NA players are still on 1 to 2 Caustic Rift. But I don't think there's a single NA player that's on Caustic Rift. So I don't think that's very true. Outside of that is the Teemo Tristana, which is going to be the first time we bring up the notepad for this week, is going to be which Tristana flavor is bestest. And so if you go purely off of win rate, let's look at the win rate decks. I think, oh, Samira Fizz is up there, actually. That's what I've been playing, Samira Fizz. Of course, I'm not one of the best players because I'm bad, but for a long time, you would see all these Teemo Tristana decks. So you see here the highest, second highest win rate deck in the entire game, and then the highest Tristana deck is actually still Demacia, which is what our current like rank 1 in NA played a lot. And this is the deck I've been playing a lot, was the Demacia version. The idea is that like you can do what the other decks do, the other Tristana decks do, except you can also just win the game on turn 6, and a lot of decks can't deal with that. Like, you could just go, play a bunch of Spell Shield units, play a bunch of units. Oops, it hit turn 6. I know, I have attack token on evens, play Champion Strength, I won the game. The downside to Teemo Tristana is if you don't have attack token on evens, your win rate goes down a little bit, which is very unfortunate. You see here, it says it's losing to the Teemo Tristana LoR. I promise you, this is like not actually that bad, except for when you have attack token on odds. I played against Baja in the tournament this weekend, in round 5, and I lost our match single-handedly because I had attack token on odds. That's it. Could I have played things a little bit differently? Yes. Was the game like maybe winnable if I did things like with hindsight vision? Probably. But single-handed factor was that I didn't get it. I had attack token on odds, and he got to attack me on turn 6 instead of the other way around, and I lost the game. If I had attack token on evens and was able to attack him on 6, I would have won the game without question. So that is kind of frustrating, but it's like give and take, because it's good that when you get attack token on 6, knowing that like I would have just beat him, I would have just like won, is nice. But knowing that when that doesn't happen, it feels really bad. It's kind of frustrating. And here we can kind of compare the matchup table. So the matchup charts are fairly equal, fairly the same across the board, except for a couple spots here. You see Tristana Bilgewater is just slightly better. It's just slightly better. So, like in the mirror match against Bilgewater version, the Demacia is kind of lacking, mostly because Narb creates Pokesticks and they just have a bunch of ways to actually remove units, as well as you can play a signpost if you want to. I think I'm currently on a signpost. It is slightly better into Samira Fizz. Demacia just can do literally nothing about Samira Fizz at all. Bilgewater plays a bunch of pings and can, again, they play way more removal to try and deal with the Samira and stuff. The Demacia version just literally can't deal with Samira at all unless they want to play 4 mana Buster Shot, which is not great. The Lurk package is much better, again, because you have so many removal spells. The actual block package is much better because you're not relying on this one really big attack token and then you get Frostbite and stuff like that. And also, again, more removal spells. And then in the Tristana Demacia, again, it says it's 50-50 here, but you're going to be slightly favored. The thing that Tristana Demacia has over is you're much better into control decks as a whole because it's hard to deal with just like one big kill turn with control unless you're on like Ruination mana. But if they're not on Ruination mana, they literally just can't deal with a really big all-in attack because let's say it's like turn 6, they're going to have 9 mana at best. Again, if it's not exactly Ruination, what is that? That's exactly like Mystic Shot plus Vengeance. Well, if I'm 6 wide, you Mystic Shot one thing, Vengeance another thing, I still have 4 units that have, 6 plus attack that are going to come in and hit you a couple times, and you're just not surviving that. And the difference, again, is Aatrox Vayne matchup is you're going to be better than the Bilgewater version because the Bilgewater version can't apply pressure early, and this is how you beat Vayne Aatrox, is you apply pressure early so you don't let them get to their big Darken turns. And with Teemo Tristana Demacia, it's really just a Champion Strength check. That's why it's not like super favored because it's just Champion Strength. Even if you're on, if you have attack token on odds, you still Champion Strength on turn 7, which is before they actually start playing any of their big Darken units. So you, because all their big Darken units like Anaka and the quick attack guy that draws you 2 cards, those are all 8 cost. Even like Harazi, if they're on like Harazi and stuff like that. All of that stuff costs 8. And if you're attacking on odds, worst case scenario, you can just Champion Strength with Scout on 7. And they can't do anything about it. They just like, they can't. Aatrox maybe like is flipped and can block and trade into one thing. Maybe they slam down their, the Overwhelm, the like 6 cost Overwhelm 7/7 from Bloodletters. And that can like block twice. But for the most part, they don't have cards that are big enough to block twice for really anything. So Especially if you have like 2 power units all across the board. Aatrox can't even block twice at that point, and it's just not a fun time. Not a fun time to deal with, so that's why you're only slightly favored here. But yeah, the build order version just can't apply pressure. And people are like, oh, well, you can just throw in heavy metals. But the issue is not heavy metals and destroying the equipment. It's that they just outgrind you by going to turn 8 and then going, here's a big unit, here's a big unit, here's a big unit, and then you just get ran over. So that's the really big question, is which flavor is better? I don't think Noxus exists, so Noxus isn't real. The Noxus version is just bad, I think, in my opinion. I don't know what its win rate is, but I'd be willing to just call that deck bad. It's 53% win rate. It just feels not great. I just don't think there's a single reason to play this over the other 2 versions. Let's see here. You're losing Aatrox Vayne pretty hard. You're losing to any aggro deck pretty hard. You're losing to Samir Varus pretty hard. You're still losing to the Bilgewater version. Yeah, I don't think there's a reason to play Noxus. I think basically you play either Bilgewater. Oops, wrong button. You play either Bilgewater or play either Bilge or Demacia. I think it is Bilge or Demacia, Tristana. I think it's really just up to you and what you're comfortable with and what you want to do. I have been a really big Demacia player for a while now, but I think I'm going to switch over to Bilgewater for a while here and see just how well it feels and how good it feels to play and pilot. So, because it looks like it's doing really good. It won a tournament, obviously, this weekend. And yeah, so I have big stats for you guys here. Cool. Much better stuff. Someone just said that to me. Thank you, Shadox. Big helper, big helper. Yeah, so that's going to be it for a ladder and going over those decks. So now let's look at the tournaments and let's see what things did well. And let's talk about what you can do to play in your rumbles, as well as what you can start scrimming and preparing for the open this weekend. So we'll look at see what won the 2 big tournaments, and then we'll go over what the kind of meta looked like. So number 1, what won was Bajatak. This was the big Mastering Runeterra $20 entry fee, like $2,000 prize pool tournament. And this is what he's on. He was on Samir Pantheon. Okay. He was on Garen Kaisa Jarvan. Okay. And he was on Tristana Teemo Bilgewater. So this is kind of in Baj's deck. He has the highest win rate. This is kind of like what the stock build has turned into because he has the highest win rate and because he's doing so well on it. So it has like the 1 signpost. I assume that's for like the Demacia matchups. I assume that's for like Ruinations or really anything. Just 1 of signpost is fine. It can destroy weapons is really good. So into your Varus matchups, you can do that way if you need to do that at all. But this deck is pretty solid. Probably ate a lot of bans. Second deck we're going to go over is the Samir Pantheon deck. Again, very standard. This is actually like pretty close to my build where I'm on like the 2 Brutal Skirmish and the 1 Flame. I wonder if this is like literally just my deck list. Yeah, the one Ayula. Oh yeah, this is definitely just my deck list, 100%. Because I'm also on just 2 Saga Seeker, 1 Ayula. Oh, and I'm on triple Camphor though, so this is not exactly my deck list. But this is pretty much something close to what I'd play. I'd probably play like 2 Blade Squires and 3rd Camphor, because I think being able to just slam down big unit after big unit after big unit is really just how you win a lot of matchups that you're not supposed to be winning, or at least make things very, very difficult. Yeah, so that's big. The third deck we're going to talk about here is Kaisa Garrett Jarvan. So a lot of people brought like Kaisa Auction to the tournament, and that was like a champion strength style deck. But Baja went a little bit different and just brought good old Kaisa Demacia mid-range style deck, which is Kaisa Garrett Jarvan. He said that this deck did not lose a single game this weekend. He said it went undefeated. This is definitely the sketchiest deck out of all of them. I probably wouldn't play this deck myself, but if it works, it works. And I mean, he definitely, I mean, he won the whole tournament. He said it didn't drop a game. He beat me with it. So I like, you know, the deck can't really be that bad. If he's sitting here and just winning constantly. You get Scout Challenger off of Genevieve. Yeah. Oh, he's not even playing the 2-mana Valor card. So a lot of things are kind of different. This is a very interesting mid-range deck. I'm not really sure what this is trying to beat. I think you're probably okay into the Demacia version. Tristana Demacia. I think that was his whole idea, was to be good into Demacia Tristana, even though this, I don't think Pantheon Samir is good into Tristana Demacia. Tristana Demacia is worse Pantheon. Samir Pantheon. Oh, Samir Pantheon's not even up here. But Yeah, oops, sorry. I don't think this is very good in Demacia. Unless you can just like level Pantheon on 6 and then roll lifesteal, it's not going to be that crazy. And even sometimes with lifesteal roll, you still just lose. I've definitely beaten a leveled up on 6 Pantheon with lifesteal before. So, I don't know, but he is on like 1 deny, so 1 deny, 1 quicksand, can get rid of scout even, can get rid of some power, so this deck's very interesting. We've seen a lot of like decks like this, but they didn't do too well. So congrats to Baja, that's one lineup. The next lineup is what won OLS. So OLS, I think it's like $150 tournament, and the winner was Maitri, and he brought Karmaset Targon, brought Echo, oh, Mono Echo, not even Echo Jinx, okay. There's Mono Echo with Piltove and Castaway. Interesting. I wonder if that's a way, so you're trying to get Overwhelm weapons so you can give your Echo Overwhelm. That's pretty interesting. And then Samira Fizz with 1 Darkened Ballista. Wow, triple Inferno and triple Powder Pandemonium. This is interesting. Our lists are a little bit different here in the sense of, oh, he's on Monkey Business. I'm on the 3-2 that plunders. I think that's probably the only like unit difference. I think I'm not on Dashing Dandy either. But yeah, interesting. You're playing 1 weapon here. Triple Inferno, triple Powder Pandemonium sounds kind of crazy to me, but I guess it worked for them. So Samira Fizz, really strong deck. In my opinion, I think Samira Fizz is probably the best deck in the game right now. I think it's the best deck in tournament format, at least. When I brought it this weekend, my lineup was Tristana, Demacia, Samira Fizz. What even was my third deck? It was like Bard. It was Bard, Demacia, Elites, which is Bard, Garen, Elites, which was a fine deck. It was just another champion strength deck. And Samira Fizz either got banned every single game, or the one round it wasn't banned, it won. So I think Samira Fizz has been great. In my Ruthless Rumbles this weekend, I recorded a Ruthless Rumble one. Spoiler alert, Samira Fizz got banned all but 2 games, and then the 2 games it didn't get banned, it won very heavily. Again, spoiler alert, I won one of the games on turn 4 with Samira Fizz. So like, I think Samira Fizz is by far just the best tournament deck in the game right now. I think this is a must bring alongside with the Bilgewater Tristana deck. So we will get there in a moment, but I think Samira Fizz is the best deck again. And then like a shocked face type thing. Because yeah, I don't think it's this build though. I think this build's kind of troll. I think they're Inferno troll. I'll show my so I go to Runeterra, I'll show my deck list with it. And Samira Fizz is also what I used to climb ladder recently, and I'm like 1400 LP, something like rank 6. Yeah, so Samira Fizz, this is what I'm on. I'm on the 2 Jagged Taskmaster. I'm just all in. Oh yeah, Swindles. I don't even know if Maitri was on. Surely he was on Swindles. Maitri's not even on Swindles. Like, that's kind of weird. It's very weird build. Very weird build. Or are they on? They're not on Warning. They're on Warning Shots. Okay. Yeah, very weird build. I have 1 Elixir of Wrath in my deck just to push lethal. I've considered taking out like -1 Elixir, -1 Warning Shot to put in 2 Fervors, because I think Fervor is a really nice way to have reach and burn. That a lot of people aren't expecting, especially if it's going to be closed deckless in the open again. That's going to be a nice way to kind of just find lethals that your opponent's not going to play around. But yeah, this is a list I've been on, and it's been working really well for me. Like I said, I've climbed up to 1400 something LP with it, so it's done really well in the gauntlets for me. Like if we look at standard gauntlet, it's like it won the game it played. This game it got banned, I assume, or are these? I don't know. I played against the same guy here like a whole bunch of times in a row. So so this was, yeah. So I 2-0'd him here, and then yeah, this third time I played against him, he banned Samira Fizz because it beat him the first time, beat him the second time, and I hit him a third time, and then he just banned it and was just not having any part of it. So. Yeah, Samira Fizz has been doing really good work for me lately. Highly recommend you playing Samira Fizz. I think Samira Fizz is a must bring. Now let's look at the Master Runeterra archetypes and decks. I know this video is getting kind of long. We'll try and quicken things up here. So the most brought archetype was actually Tristana Demacia. The second most brought archetype was immediately Tristana Gnar. And the third most brought archetype tied is Samira. So Samira Fizz and Samira Pantheon. Noxus was the most brought region. I assume that's because even though Tristana and Bandle City was up there, it was immediately followed by Noxus, because Samira is still a really good champion. And Swain, Alawi is actually still a really good champion. The most brought cards was Form Up, immediately followed by Samira. So it's really interesting to have a champion in the most played cards, because you can only bring at most 3 copies of a champion in each lineup, whereas with like any non-champion card, you could have a maximum of 9 in your lineup. So the fact that Samira is up here just shows you that like everybody brought a Samira deck because Samira is so strong. You saw here Samira was brought over Tristana. And you even see like Tristana was up here. It's just immediately followed by a bunch of Bandle card, Bandle card, Bandle card, Bandle card, Bandle card, Bandle card, Bandle card. Like this also goes into Targon, but as all Bandle cards are up here. Region pairs, Bilgewater Noxus because that's Samira Fizz and Swain Alawi. So that's really like 32 of the same deck right there. But 34, I guess there was something else too, probably Pirates or some crazy stuff. Archetype pairing. So this is the thing I wanted to look at for you guys and show you guys. Was the most common archetype pairing was Samira Fizz and Tristana Demacia at 9. I was one of them. I believe Jordan was not one of them, but I was one of them. I think this lineup pairing is really good. Same with down here, the Bilgewater version with Samira Fizz, I think is very good. I think, in my opinion, I'm going to give you guys my opinion. Samira Fizz plus Tristana X equals the best of 3 core right now. I think this is probably your best of 3 core. I think it's Samira Fizz plus Tristana X. Tristana can be either Bilgewater or the Demacia version, whichever flavor you prefer. I'm still not sure which one's the actual best or whatever. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you because that's for my scrim group only. I'm just kidding, I would tell you. But I don't know which Tristana version is really the best. I think it's just we're gonna scrim a lot, and I think it's probably just gonna come down to personal preference. It's gonna be like one of our team members really likes Demacia, so they're gonna bring Demacia. One of our team members really likes Bilgewater, so we're gonna play Bilgewater. Stuff like that. But I think this is probably the best core in the game right now. And not probably, I think this is the best core in the game right now. So if your goal is to be on the best lineup or the good player lineup or the best deck lineup, it's probably going to start with Samira Fizz and then a Tristana deck, and then you're kind of just trying to round out your deck after that. The sad part is you've already used 2 of the best champions in the game, which is Tristana and Samira. So finding the third deck is always the hardest part because you want to try and find out what is the best actual champion. OLS, we're going to go look over here. So let's see what the most popular deck is over here was actually Samira Fizz. Samira Fizz, Echo Jinx, and then immediately followed by both Tristana decks. Let's see here. What is the most... okay, archetypes pairing. So this one had the most popular at Echo Jinx and Samira Fizz, and then Echo Jinx and Tristana Demacia. So maybe it's Echo Jinx is up there. Echo Jinx has also been an extremely popular deck. Again, we saw Matri 1, but they were on a really weird like mono Echo. Like no Jinx list, just mono Echo, which is kind of interesting. I'm sorry, go back to OLS. So the lineups, there's a bunch of unique lineups here, all just ones across the board. The only lineup that got duplicated, the only lineups that got duplicated was Samira Fizz, Tristana DE, Echo Jinx, and then Tristana Gnar, Alawi Swain, and then Samira Pantheon. I think both of these lineups are very solid. I think if you just switched out Alawi, Swain, if you swapped out Samira Pantheon for like Samira Fizz, this lineup is like something I could see myself running in tournament. This lineup is something I could see myself running in tournament. It's really just going to come down to what people find to be the best third deck, and it's going to come down to like what it is you're trying to beat. If you look at the matchup tables next to each other, like Tristana, Bilgewater, and Samira Fizz, you see they have a lot of matchup tables that they're pretty happy to share. Let's see, like the only ones like what Nasus, Shurima, like the Bilgewater version isn't super aggro, so it's kind of hard into that. Jinx, Samira, the like discard aggro decks, kind of whatever. You're mid into the Noxus version. Let's see, you're like 50-50. You're not great into Echo Jinx. You're not great into Aatrox. So, like, you know, it shares a lot of the same table. So you probably want to try and find something that's like similar to that. Which maybe maybe that's deep. Who knows? Maybe that's deep. Just kidding. It's never deep. Deep's not that good of a deck right now. Please don't play deep. So it's really going to come down to looking at tables and scrimming and trying to find the best third deck. But right now, I don't know what that is. I don't know what the third deck is. I'm not just saying that to like keep information from you guys. I just don't know. There's a bunch of options. So we'll just write down here. Options for the third deck problem is going to be Echo Jinx, potentially. You could just play Aatrox, Pain. You can't play any Samira deck, but maybe you could play like Varus something, Varus X, like Varus Pantheon, Varus Uction. There's always like Swain Alawi, I think is very solid. You can play any of these as your third deck, and there's going to be many more. So that's just where I would start. Maybe you could play like Scouts with Champion Strength. Like that's probably where I would start trying to find the best third deck. And yeah, So that's gonna be it for this video today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys can get a lot of information out of here. I will put a link to Mastering Runeterra down in the description below, or sorry, not Mastering Runeterra, to Runeterra AR. It's what I use to find all my stats. I just go click here on the stats page and then sort by masters the last 7 days, so I have updated stats, and then we go off of there. So that's great for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be putting out again mini gameplay videos and like kind of guide videos this week. Like I said, I have a Ruthless Rumble run. I have a deck guide for some gameplay with Samira Fizz, stuff like that coming out this week. And also again, Thursday is gonna be my Sweaty Thursday video where I go through and I go over the meta one final time before the open actually happens, so I can let you know if something's changed at all or if it's kind of just everything has been the same and you can expect things to stay the same for it. But that's gonna be it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.